"You're trespassing with that light," she said, squinting at my porch like it offended her soul. I blinked. What? Rhonda Cartwright, the newly self-appointed neighborhood preservation officer, stood stiff as a fence post at the edge of my walkway, arms folded, jaw set, and holding a laminated chart. She pointed at a sliver of sunlight stretching across her driveway. "Your window reflection is directing unauthorized sunlight onto my property. That's passive intrusion. You owe me glare fees." I nearly spit out my coffee. But let me back up. Just a month ago, I bought the coziest fixer-upper on Maple Fern Lane. Big oak in the front, porch swing that moaned with every breeze, and a view of the west horizon that melted every stress away. It felt like peace. Until day 2. That's when Rhonda showed up. Clipboard, cat-eye sunglasses, and a voice that made you flinch. Her opening line wasn't hello, it was, "Solar panels must be flat mount and squirrel resistant." I'd been warned about Maple Fern rules, but nothing prepares you for someone who tried to control sunshine angles. Now here she was, accusing my front-facing window of light pollution. Never mind that her house was diagonally across the cul-de-sac. At precisely 4:23 p.m., my bay window caught the sun just right, casting a warm beam across her mailbox. "For 10 minutes, you have until Saturday," she barked, "or I'll file a claim for reflective invasion and heat trespass." I stood speechless. She turned and strutted back across the street like she'd just served a federal subpoena. By dinner, an email from the so-called NPO landed in my inbox. Subject: Solar redirection violation. It came with a chart, a heat map, and something called a light boundary infringement form. I laughed, then printed it, then walked across the street with a copy in hand. Rhonda's husband opened the door, looked at the paper, sighed, and handed me a slice of zucchini bread like it was an apology. "You're the fourth," he whispered. The next day, I took action. I installed a mirror film on the inside of my window, reflecting the sun upward instead of outward. That should have solved it, but Rhonda was already at war. She marched over, accusing me of redirecting solar energy without approval. I said, "I'm just living here." She snapped, "Living doesn't exempt you from radiance regulation." I knew then, I couldn't reason with her. I had to outsmart her. So I bought the biggest reflective wind spinner money could buy. Polished steel petals, rainbow tips, and a center that caught the sun like a lighthouse. I planted it right where the sunlight bounced naturally, in my flower bed closest to her driveway. It didn't touch her property. But oh, it danced. Sunlight scattered like confetti. Birds loved it, kids giggled. Rhonda screamed, "That's deliberate luminance aggression," she shouted. She tried to yank it out of the ground. But I'd anchored it in 60 pounds of concrete and planted marigolds around it. That was day 1. Day 2, I got a formal cease and desist letter. Day 3, she borrowed a drone from her nephew to track light flow anomalies. She claimed my decor was causing melatonin disruption. I posted a video of her mid-drone flight titled, "Rhonda versus the Sun." It hit 200K views in 2 days. Comments flooded in. People started calling her Glow Cop and the Daylight Duchess. Instead of backing down, Rhonda cracked down. She started inspecting people's porch lights, timing their garden timers, and documenting what she called unapproved seasonal gleam. One poor neighbor got fined for a crystal wind chime she claimed refracted invasive prisms. Meanwhile, I made it my mission to brighten up everything. Solar lights, reflective pinwheels, an art piece made from CDs. She claimed my house had become a visual hazard. Then I found the golden ticket. In the Maple Fern Charter, buried under outdated bylaws, was a clause restricting decorative structural reflections, which included, interestingly, pergolas and overhead decks, to under 12 feet. Rhonda's deck, the one she hosted all her neighborhood light watch meetings from, measured in at 12 feet, 5 inches. I took photos, video, and 3D measurements with a borrowed scanner app. Walked it over to her door. Rhonda answered, saw the folder, didn't even blink, just muttered, "You're meddling with the ecosystem." I smiled, "And you're blocking the sun." That Thursday, the neighborhood committee met. Usually it was Rhonda, 2 board retirees, and a lady knitting through the agenda. But this time, half the neighborhood showed up, some with sunglasses on in protest. Committee chair Mr. Lyle, who usually nodded through everything, cleared his throat and said, "We need to discuss inappropriate enforcement of unratified regulations." Rhonda's eyebrow twitched. "Excuse me," another member, Janice, chimed in. "And the fact that your deck is out of compliance." Rhonda laughed, then yelled, then called the meeting a coup. I raised my hand. May I speak? Lyle nodded. I moved here for sunlight and quiet. But I've had nothing but fines, warnings, and made up rules about light angles. If you're going to weaponize windows, then none of us are safe. Applause. Real, genuine applause. Janice added, we're not here to measure shadows. We're here to be neighbors. The board voted. Investigation opened. Rhonda was suspended from all NPO duties, pending review. She slammed her chair backward and snarled, this street will rot without me. Then she stormed out, her shadow trailing behind. But I knew it wasn't over. 3 weeks passed. She vanished. Porch empty. Curtains closed. No more charts taped to door handles. People thought she gave up. Until I got a thick envelope in my mailbox. No stamp, just slid inside. Inside was a lawsuit. Rhonda was suing me. Claim: deliberate deflection of natural resources. Damages: $21,000. Reason: psychological damage from targeted solar manipulation. I laughed. Then I found the enclosed document, a hand-drawn diagram, arrows, shaded zones, my yard, my window, the sun's path. And one note at the bottom. Next vote equals shared sunlight tax. If she got that passed, she could charge everyone. Not just me. I showed the committee. Lyle's mustache twitched. Janice said, that's not HOA. That's a light monarchy. We held an emergency vote. But first, I threw the brightest block party ever. Neon streamers, reflective tape, sun catchers, glitter balloons. We grilled at high noon. One neighbor wore a disco ball helmet. Even Lyle danced. Rhonda watched from her window, lips tight. That night, the vote was unanimous. Rhonda was banned from ever holding position in the neighborhood association again. As for her deck, county gave her 30 days to bring it down. She refused, so they brought in a crew. On a sunny morning, I sipped my tea as they trimmed her overhanging deck to regulation height. When they finished, the reflection that used to beam onto her yard was gone. Rhonda came out, looked at my porch, bathed in golden sunlight, and just turned around. No lawsuit, no glare fees, no fake bylaws, just silence. Now, each evening, I sit in my bright red chair, surrounded by pinwheels and wind chimes, the sun glowing on my porch. Because some shadows, they disappear all by themselves. And if someone ever tells you your window is too shiny, remember. This isn't just a story. It's a solar revolution. Hit subscribe for more. Drop a comment. Let the light in. Because here on Maple Fern Lane, the glow is free. Sun.